Hello.
Hi.
We are here in the series of interviews with the laureates of literature creation competition. This is the fifth edition. We are talking with Miroslava
Kočvarová.
Kočvarová from Žilina, Slovakia.
Yes.
Shortly, it's Mira.
I also use my pen name, Elliotté P, which I write under.
It's a winner of a Grand Prix for poetry. Thank you, Mira, for coming this afternoon for this interview. And let's start by you telling us about you and your passion for writing.
I've been writing since I remember, mostly in English, yet recently I began to embrace my Slovak roots more and writing in Slovak. As I mentioned earlier, I use a pen name, Elliotté P. I illustrate my books with my own acrylic paintings, photos, and graphics. I'm also a sculptor and editor-in-chief of underground online magazine for literature, art, and philosophy, which is called Estetično. Well, I think that art in general, especially poetry, leaves us with some imprint of the writer's soul. It's a manifested realm of present, and it's so natural to me to write, like to breathe or to walk.
Very nice, very impressive, really. You also make the pictures for your books, as you said, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
That means you have published volumes of poems.
My first book was published at the age of 20. It was a poetry collection called Wounded Poems, which I have been writing since I was 15, so it was a really long-term project. I published it through self-publishing company in Slovakia. It's called Publico. And last year I reprinted this book in the USA along with my another book, poetry collection also, Seek the Upside Eyes there too, which was awarded Page Turner Award 2023 in book genre poetry subcategory and was nominated for Book Vision 2024. And I'm also a part of literary group Absence of Meaning in Žilina, or Absencia významu in Slovak, and we have published an anthology called Muse Rental, or Požičovňa Múz in Slovak.
What is your background?
I am currently studying Mediamatics and Cultural Heritage at Žilina University. I'm doing my bachelor's degree this year.
Do you write also prose?
Yes, I do. I had written a novel actually in English about my middle school bullying experience as an autistic child when I was 17. And it was called Slumber of Ravens. But as soon as I finished it, I threw it away because it was just a terrible book. And last year I finished a critical literary essay about the poets of Gen Z in Slovak literary society, their placement and so on. Likewise, I also wrote a short story which is right now waiting to be published. It's called House Where a Child Died. It's yet again about my life experiences as a child, but it's set during the post-socialist era.
And which one you like the best, poetry or prose?
That's a really difficult question because I sort of have to rewire my brain to get used to writing poetry and their prose. I think that poetry is more natural to me, but I think that I don't write a clean prose. It's more like this lyrical prose or something like that. I usually don't write long pieces because when I deem it's finished, it's just finished, and I don't want to stretch it if it's not necessary.
Let's talk about the Festival for Arts and this competition. How did you find it out?
I literally found it randomly through the app on social media, and yeah, in majority most opportunities that worked out for me in my life were discovered like out of nowhere, spontaneously, like this ad. So I had no idea about the festival before.
This edition was quite interesting because a lot of people from France and Belgium also competed. How do you find the organization competition, the judging, and the other competitors as well?
I deem that the portfolio of contestants, whether awarded or not, was quite diverse, and many of their works were really captivating. I think it's important for the contemporary cultural platform of arts to embrace especially uniqueness and inclusivity, not just to go with the flow that is set by few people who are not even probably happy with their lives. So you were quite inclusive and you really looked at the uniqueness and the competitors as individuals.
I understand that you also read some others, right? Even though many were in Romanian language, but you could get the translation from Google. Some were French, as I said. You got the Grand Prix. You cannot say if it was right or wrong. For the others, maybe, do you think the judgment was pretty fair?
Hard to say because I love to write and I think I'm doing great, opposed to as I used to write like a year ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago or so. I think that I was just kind of lucky and we kind of resonated with each other, so I won.
Yeah, it's true. The art competitions, generally speaking, I think they are very subjective.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it depends not only on the person who judged, but it depends even on the moment the judge judged.
Yeah, I feel like these things need to be just right in the alignment for you to succeed or not. And if you don't succeed, it doesn't mean that you're a bad poet or that you're unworthy. It just means that you weren't truly aligned with the opportunity and it probably wouldn't bring you as much joy. I actually heard a really nice quote. There are only three answers to what might happen if you ask God or universe, if you ask them for something. The first one is, yeah, you got it right now, here you are. The second is, yes, you will get it, but later when you're more ready. And the third is, no, I have something much better in store for you.
Right. I would like to talk a bit also about the place you are coming from.
I was actually born in Martin, which is not so far from Žilina, and I moved into Žilina when I was 20. The energy was really different because I feel like stuck in my hometown. There weren't many opportunities. The lifestyle was more like be content what you have, don't aspire for anything more. And in Žilina, like I come and I found lots of people who I resonated with. They were also like spiritual, they were interested in art, sculpture, literature, they were interested in fashion. Like the underground base in Žilina is huge and I absolutely love it. It's all about music and painting and poetry and just simply being, and I love it.
Can you tell us something about your plans?
First of all, I shall focus on another study of contemporary Slovak literature, which is for my bachelor's degree, as I mentioned before, and I'm looking forward to publish my third poetry collection, which will be called Goodnight Beer, which I devoted to my dear friend Mikhailo Hromovi, also from Absence of Meaning. If you're watching this high, I would really like to focus on healing and finding out more about myself. I also am currently studying an online course on Yale University about psychology, so
yeah, a lot of studying and writing.
I definitely love to learn. I cannot imagine just being in a job where I just do something and never ever learn anything new again.
Do you think that Festival for Arts can do anything better or can do something more for the artists, generally speaking, or mainly for writers?
This isn't really about writers because I think that your care for the contestants is really good, but I would focus more on greater social media exposure. I also discovered this competition just because I was scrolling on my phone, and also PR to raise awareness also in Western countries, not just in Romania, because I feel like Festival for Arts has much more potential to it than it appears to. And I would also recommend skilling up your graphical presentation. Don't take it as a critique, it's just my opinion, and yeah, of course I might be wrong, so
They are very good things you are saying. I also would love to have this.
I want you to know that what you do matters. It
Yes.
really does.
I know, and I keep telling politicians and other people about this.
Right now in Slovakia it's really bad, and many people are just being fired out of nowhere, and many artists are boycotted, and also the money. This poem is called Return to Heaven, and I devote it to Lukáš F. Onto the surface, the rain beats down the flies, like an old concubine stretching a loom. I discover the incarnations of days and months. A downpour like falling in silence, a sudden blindness. We didn't have time to get to know each other, to reveal the nudity of our bones. At irregular intervals, I light a candle for you. I hear how the fields still remember your skin, and will remember it even when they're harvested, even the aces of cups that won't be washed from saliva. The train arrived early. Carps are thrashing. It's the dusk in a spider's skin. She sews dresses from the seeds, concubine, hunching, armored. She rests in the sun. There are only a few more sequences left for her heavy wrinkles. Under a duvet until midnight, repeat and whisper the list of things you're taking with you. And when you shall already be walking down that path, do not forget your speech.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to be here. Thank you dearly for this opportunity, and I wish you and Festival for Arts all the best.
Thank you very much. We wish you also
Thank you
all
too.
the best, and good luck with all your endeavors.
Have a nice day.
You have a nice day too. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.